Welcome to Canadian Disc Golf Productions coverage of the Ontario Juniors Disc Golf Championships. This Ontario Juniors Disc Golf Championships is the culmination of more than a dozen juniors tournaments held throughout the summer. The winners of each event won a place in today's final. Joining me for round two in the booth is Nico Forbes of Nico's Drive. Nico's Drive is a provincial junior disc golf tour, and Nico and his dad Carl ran more than a dozen events across the province, and this is the finals, the second round of the 10 and under mixed division. A big thanks to Wally, Carl Forbes, and the volunteers who helped make this tournament go. My name is Gabe Robinson. Project 15 is my course, and I'm thrilled to have this event running at the project. This second round will be played on Project 2. Nico, you were one of the first to play this course. How do you think the course will hold up in competition today?
I feel well. I feel like more short and controlled shots are needed here. Distance is not overly needed.
Well, here are our competitors. Austin from the first round, he holds the lead at present and has Nico sitting behind him by, I believe, only 3 strokes. Nico, you're at -1, Austin at -3. And playing his way onto the lead card, we have Alistair. You'll see some great putting from this individual. And we're moving on to Project 2, which is the new course. And this here is the first hole on Project 2, which plays through a row of grand old maple trees across the deep pit, hazard, and down a fairly narrow chute to a basket tucked into a patch of mixed forest. Wayward shots tend to end up in the gully, where only overhead throws leave much chance of making par, and sometimes even that's impossible from down there. The hole is just under 185 feet. It's a par 3, and it plays slightly uphill from the tee, demanding a straight shot or a gentle flex that doesn't fade much at the end. First on the tee,
Austin.
You bet.
Austin Hill with a bit of a flex. Looks like he got caught up in the left side of the fairway. He'll have to dig out.
It's not bad, but if you can do it, maybe a bit more of a flat shot, because up higher shots tend to have a bit of more risk. So I could have put a bit more anhyzer, but I think I'll be okay. Alistair with a left-handed backhand. That's coming back. Not bad. I believe he got caught up in the junipers there.
I think he's just the furthest from the basket here, but all 3 competitors are actually quite close. A left-handed putt. Oh, awfully close. Good chance at a 2.
And here I am with a bit of a tough putt. I actually had the exact same look in practice.
How important is it that you get a sniff at what you're going to face before or during a round?
Well, I feel it's important because I tend to go to tournaments, actually Worlds. I like to go days before so I could get the tournaments. I actually had notes for every hole.
Well, that seems like the kind of thing only a pro would do.
Well, you need to know every shot. Strokes matter. Like putt, you miss a putt, you make it. It matters.
Sure counts, and that's the game. We do count strokes. Here we have Alistair cleaning up his par. Nicely done. Again, this is not a long hole, but it's got some danger early off the tee. And here we see everybody trying to make pars before we move on to the second hole of Project 2. Nico, this should be an automatic putt for a player of your capacity. Clean that up nicely. And you see my dog running through the green. Thankfully, she wasn't harassing the putters during the end of that hole. And there's our good friend Holly also helping out run the tournament. A big thanks to all the volunteers who make all of the tournaments at Project 15 work. Hole 2 was originally designed to be the 18th hole on this new course, and it starts with a real tunnel shot that leads to a sharp drop down towards the green. This collection area on the left eats up a lot of short throws, but the best shots clear the ridge and land in the depression by the basket. There are mounds and junipers to help collect skipping shots, but the most daring shots risk running well through the green and out the back, making a comeback shot a real challenge. Plays about 170 feet downhill, and it's par 3. And what are you thinking about going into a hole like this, Nico?
Well, I'm throwing a bit of an overstable mid-range, so it just fades.
Ooh.
Ooh, really close there. And one thing just quick, I'd like to thank my sponsors, Innova, Grip, Diameter Apparel, and Universal Disc Golf.
Amazing. And it's amazing for most people to think that a player at your age despite being so good, has so many sponsors. But
Thank you.
you really do excite people when they watch you play. Nice birdie there. Beautiful tee shot and a good cleanup.
Thank you. And this is actually a really hard hole, and it was really hard to decide at my tournament. If you go on there, it's really hard because you can't go back. It's worse than just getting in there. So how do you get your disc if it's an unplayable line?
Right. And these are some of the small questions, the minutiae of how the game actually runs, the rule systems. Something that everybody has to pay attention to all the time. Moving on to hole 3, which in my mind has always been the first hole in this course, but we had to adjust that to make it work for tournament play. The view from the tee is a dramatic downhill vista. Several trees and low branches constrict the right side lines, and the hole runs down and to the right. Thick brush lines the fairway on the left, and a stand of pine trees blocks the corner on the right. The green is wide and works from left to right and demands some precision, as long shots can get tangled in the foliage behind. The hole is a par 3, it measures about 250 feet, and demands a high backhand turnover or a level forehander that skips right and hard and works back to this back position.
This is actually a really hard hole because you want distance on this hole, but you also want the anhyzer flex. So if you put an ante, maybe go over the brush where you see a spodger there, and it will be okay.
It is a tough hole, and one of the things that it structurally does is it makes the airspace, it really constricts the airspace.
Nice
Beautifully
shot.
handled by Austin. That's the right amount of level with a bit of climb. Nico, your flex looks like it's going to belly out beautifully.
Thank you.
And a nice skip. You'll be
That's
looking at a
what you
putt.
want. Austin's was a bit more powered, so both of those are fine drives. This caught a little bit, but I think we're all sitting okay.
Another great shot. He's slightly further than the other two fellows. We got a little peek at our friend Jack, who was spotting for the group at this point on this hole. Nice to have lots of volunteers helping out. Second shot for Alistair. Not a bad shot. He'll have an easy par. Nico's second shot here. Can we come away with a birdie?
It's a pretty hard putt.
Oh, caught some metal just off the band. Good effort. Looks like Austin has just about the same distance, but a different angle.
It's a bit hard in there, but it's pin deep, and that's basically the only person I've seen who's been pin deep, and that's a very good shot there. Oh,
Beautiful
nice putt.
birdie play. He's got a smooth, controlled putting stroke. Always impressive. Oh, you got an unfortunate kick that really rolled on you. No problem for you. Good par.
Thank you.
Alistair for his par. Firm, aggressive putt. Interesting to see two forehand players and one backhand player who's a lefty. Means most of the tee shots are all the same shape despite being thrown right-handed and left-handed. We're moving on to hole 4, which is actually hole 7 on this layout because we skipped 3 unfinished holes, 4, 5, and 6. So here we are on 7, which is a short downhill hole over a giant rock pile and into the forest. Several poplar trees guard the basket and make aces unlikely, but most players will still fire at it and let their discs filter down among these trees and try to make a birdie putt. But if you get offline from the tee, you can really pay for it. The hole's only 140 feet, it's a par 3, and it gives the player a number of options off of the tee.
Ooh, Austin just got caught there. I feel like a mid-range here is the smarter choice, because if you throw a driver, if it hits a tree, it's going to go 30 feet instead of 5.
Well, speaking of hitting a tree, you had a little bit of float on yours, and it unfortunately kicked hard right. Though it's a small green, it's spacious in there, you should have a look at the basket. Alistair with a really nicely shaped shot, low and deep.
Parked, actually.
You got caught up. Oh, there it is parked. You got caught up a little bit early, and now you have to bend something to get through these trees. You can see by the way you've stepped out that your stance and your angle is a little constricted. You did very nicely. Out of a bit of a deep spot, Austin is laying next to the basket. Now he should have an easy par. You're contemplating a stand-up shot. These are extra hard. Nico for par, getting a little last-minute help from his dad. Little caddy direction. Beautifully done. Sneaks it off the edge of the basket. Well played. Congratulations from your dad wearing matching shirts.
actually in a practice round, or tournament, the next day I shot a -1 here, which I was pretty happy with that.
On this hole?
No, this course.
On this course. Yeah, I would be happy with that. As we watch our players clean up and head towards the 5th hole, which for us we call hole 8, which is a narrow uphill hole that demands some accuracy off the tee and some real control over your nose angle. Getting caught in this first row of trees makes even par even more difficult, and actually skipping up the slope is made harder by the undulations in the ground in front. I plan to add a number of bunkers to this hole in the near future, but for now it's hard enough. It's only about 200 feet, but seems to play much longer for the elevation. It's a par 3 like every other hole on this course, and is a tough birdie to get given the technical first shot. This is a nice view back down into the tee area, and here we have Alistair teeing off into this narrow gap. Again, a left-handed flex, but this one dies outright. He'll be in the thick stuff on the right, having to get creative to get clear of all of that bush. That's the shape you want, though you don't want to hit your dad. He threw a Anheuser forehand. We'll see how far that skip worked. Nico with a smooth shot, late fade. You should have a good look at the basket from there.
Yep.
Here we see Alistair from behind trying to get out and over all of that sumac. Got into a little bit of trouble off the tee, and now he's trying to grind his way out. A good pop out of these bushes should leave you a chance at par. And from this angle, it looks like he did a fine job.
Yes, very nice.
Nico's second shot, little long, little left, a little bit constricted from where you stood. And Austin, unfortunately, with a great tee shot, missed by a small margin his chance at birdie. Alistair cleans up. Good par from there, extremely well played. Nico, you've got a bit of a par save. Makeable putt, but maybe about 12, 15 feet. Oh, sorry to see that miss. How does it feel to miss a shot like that? Those must throw you off a little bit.
A little bit. It's a bit harder, but still.
So Nico falls a shot back as we move to hole 6, which in fact is hole 9, and is one of my favorites. It's a long downhill hole that works from right to left to a tucked basket. The low ceiling makes the release angle extra important, and it's a line that is a lot of fun to hit when you can do it. Big old pines define the fairway, and there are some stopper trees on the left side to give the corner a little bit of tooth. It plays about 270 feet and goes left the whole way. It's a par 3, and the ideal shot for most players is a hard, level backhand hyzer, a flip or a flex, where you have to make the late fade work for you, without it falling off too early. For this group, forehand heavy and left-handed backhand, as you see here, it's a different game.
Yes, definitely. The more play here is for an Anheuser, for especially left-handed and right-handed. So Austin got cut up, and that's what we mean about the low ceiling. Is you got to get your nose angle up. In a field, it's much easier, but here it's a bit harder.
You really do have to release level on this shot. And again, we have some extra wonderful camera work happening, but I'll remind you that elevation on video really doesn't play so well. That hole is much higher than it looks on film. There's Austin's second shot after a really good bounce off of his tee shot. And Nico's penetrated pretty deeply into the woods, where he has a clear shot to the green. And now with a little bit of junk in your backswing, you've got to try to make a little poppy second shot to the basket. Came out nose up, but you'll clean that up without much trouble.
Alistair here with a really hard shot. Nice roller.
That's fun to see him getting creative like that. He's ended up in this tiny little natural bunker to the side of the green. Still not an easy putt from there. And Nico, you've got a little work left to do to make your par here.
Tree is right in my back, so it's a pretty hard shot.
Yeah, are you considering throwing the little dinner plate? Or are you going to try to bend that one?
I don't know.
Nice to see you taking your time, thinking it through. I know sometimes, oh, beautifully done.
Thank you.
Sometimes juniors get a little bit fast and don't think through their shots. And in some ways that can be really good. You rely on your athleticism and the fact that you are an athlete, and sometimes you can just get too quick.
Fair. You must take your time. Your heart rate is important because if you rush up to a shot, you're generally not paying attention to the shot. But if you take your time, it's better because you have your lines correct. You have what you know. And actually, what helps me is I line up my shot, and when I'm ready to throw, I say now. I say now in my head, and normally that would help.
Hole 10 plays from the woods into the open, past one of the oldest maple trees in the area, over the remains of a stone fence and into a meadow, over a patch of exposed limestone and into an accessible green backed by a chunk of downed pine tree that fell in a recent climate-warming storm, the Duraco. The hole usually plays longer, but we have it at about 180 feet. It's a par 3 and gives you a few different ways to get to the basket. A gentle flex backhand is a popular choice, but this group will choose something different. Nico, what do you have lined up for this hole?
Well, basically, I'm throwing a mid-range for placement because it's not overly long. And as you see there,
Did you just throw over that pine tree in the back?
Yes.
Wow. That was nicely placed by Austin.
Yes.
One of the things that's different about this course is that most of the holes on the course you played in the morning had pretty open distance. You can throw as hard as you want, you can throw as far as you want. This course is asking you to hit some actual range your shots carefully. Beautiful comeback. That was a tough shot, especially to throw a forehand around the corner like that. But again, this one's going to ask all of the competitors to control their distance a little more cautiously.
Very nice putt from Austin.
Very nice indeed. You're looking at a par if you can clean that up. And here we have Alistair with this, what I believe is his third shot.
Second, actually.
Second, did I miss a shot? Oh, nice birdie by Alistair. And we are moving on to the 8th hole for these players, which is hole 11. And it's a long one for this course. It first works through a tight sumac gap, and some young maples line the fairway into the wide open green. There are several exciting options up for shot shapes off the tee, but you need to get past the sumacs and a lot further to give you a birdie chance. At 250 feet, this hole is a par 3 and will favor the controlled forehand flex for the right-hander, though there's a really fun turnover backhand line as well. Nico, I heard you split the uprights on the last time you played this one. Are you going to go down the middle or over top?
Yeah, I actually got a birdie for a nice forehand floater in, and yes.
Whoa!
Alistair, as you can see,
He went over the right-hand side, and he's got a bit of work to get out of some thick stuff. Here's Austin. He's also trying the hyzer line, but he
believe he
released a
went-
bit too low. So
I
he's
believe Alistair almost hit a few people, but
well, that's a bit dangerous. Another hole runs down that right side, but you can blame the course designer because you really don't want to have overlapping backhand hyzers. So somebody's got to get a grip or put in a bunch of mandos. But I gotta say, I don't like mandos. I'd rather the course tell you what to do than signage, but sometimes for safety you've got to do it. Thankfully nobody was hurt. Nico with your second shot, out of trouble into the thick stuff, but you've got a chance at a 40 or 50 foot par putt.
it's patent pending there. Oh, nice shot from Austin.
That was Austin from way out on the right.
Actually, he had a pretty good shot from where he was.
That was an excellent shot from where he landed.
If I'm not mistaken, did you almost hit the shed in practice round?
I have jacked one off to the right that went very, very poorly. That's true.
Fair.
Good leave there. You have an easy, no stress.
Thank you.
Oh my
Very
goodness.
nice putt from Alistair. Very nice.
Excellent shot. Does that leave him a birdie?
I believe so, yes.
Goodness me. And Nico, you have a stress-free 4 coming your way. And Alistair with a great 2. And
Austin was very good at putting.
oh, Austin misses a short putt. For him, you can see that he's obviously distraught. He did get into some trouble off the tee, but his second shot was so good, I'm sure he's disappointed in missing a fairly short shot.
Yes.
I mean, 18, 19 feet is not the shortest of putts, but this guy seems to make most of those. Hole 9. which for us is hole 12, takes you back into the woods slightly downhill, threading through some early trees across an open area that makes certain forehand lines rather risky. And then you work back into the forest, through a number of trees, and to this basket that's protected by some big pine trees. The green's pretty generous if you can get into the woods, but you'll have to putt through some obstacles to get at the basket. First on the tee after an impressive 2 is Alistair with his left-handed backhand, and that turned over and stayed over. Good kick though, he'll have a straight line to the basket.
Nice shot. Oh, very nice shot from Austin. Here I'm throwing my image again. I like this disc a lot because you gotta know your discs. You gotta know which one's a bit more overstable, which one's understable. You gotta know your discs.
And which disc is this?
It's a bit of an overstable Cobra.
A Cobra, okay. And it looks like you found a little stick pile off on the hole's right. You won't have too much trouble getting back to the basket. After a good kick, Alistair with something like a remarkable jump putt. This kid's making everything. Brilliant putt. Another 2 for Alistair. Nico tries to follow up, kisses the chains. Good kick down, but that's an easy 3. And we'll get to see Austin finish up here in a moment. Credit due to Alistair there for 2 consecutive birdies. Gutsy, attack the basket kind of birdies. Very impressive. And now, after just a couple of minutes on that hole, we're moving on to the 10th hole for these guys. We call it hole 13. It's a blind right to left shot that plays through this beautiful stretch of pine forest. Life gets pretty tough if you find the trees on either side of the fairway, but you're aiming to get your disc up high to the right side so you can work back to the left across a piled stone fence ahead and into a woody, tucked green.
Did you know I've actually parked this hole multiple times? It's because I've never got it around the fairway, but as maybe you can see a bit here, it's open. So I tend the forehand. For me, Alistair's actually curves back, but actually the forehand for me, I've accidentally put it through there and parked it a couple times.
So you just rip an Anheuser and it just turns and turns and a holdover Annie?
Yeah, it's actually pretty lucky, but.
Well, landing anywhere near that stone fence will give you a chance at a birdie, but the best shots have to get around the corner and through that fence. We're playing this hole at about 190 today. It's a par 3 and it favors the high stalling hyzer, but so far we've had a few competitors into trouble and everybody's having to scramble a little bit to get back to this green.
Nice upshot from Austin. Alistair having to have a bit of patent pending, a pretty hard putt. Ooh.
That looked like it was going in too, but he just kissed a little tree. You got pretty deep into the left side, but that leaves you some.
It's open in there.
Oh, that too looked like it was going if you hadn't caught a couple of branches.
Yes.
Still, stress-free par. Nice play, Nico.
Thank you.
And here's Austin cleaning up.
Have you ever landed a disc on a basket? Like landed, like actually on the top?
On top? No, I haven't.
It's one of the rare things, but.
Now tell me, if it lands on top of the basket, is it in?
It's in plus another stroke. Because you can't climb on the basket. So if
that's,
for your birdie you landed it on the top, it would be a par.
It's a par. I see. So it's not technically in the basket if it's on top. All right, the 11th hole today is hole 14 on Project 2, and it's one of the best ace opportunities on the course. It's a beautiful hole viewed from the tee. It's narrow and uphill, but rewards firm, confident throws. Across the rock pile, over the sandy bank, and across a gravelly gully, and up the slope to the small elevated green. If you miss the gap, you've got to fight for par, overthrow, and you've got a different set of problems. Only 105 feet. Distance is not the problem. It's a par 3 and it takes some courage to get through the gap and out into the open. The cautious play is always worth considering, but I think most players are going to shoot at it right away.
Yes, and this is actually where you need to take your time, as you can see I am. Because if you don't take your time, you're going to hit the tree like Austin and Alistair did.
Well, that is really exciting to watch such a beautifully shot throw, and a throw that is so beautiful. That was really neat.
Thank you.
Again, credit due to Wally for his drone footage and all of this camera work. It's hard to believe that it's only one guy filming at this point.
I almost hit him.
You almost hit him. Yeah. Here's Austin trying to work out of trouble. He's going from trouble to trouble. He's got more work to do.
Ooh.
I think he's now laying 3 on the front of the front of that slope. And Alistair has some work to do as well.
This is to save Alistair's par. We know he can make incredible putts, but still.
Oh, he hit a bit of sumac.
Too bad.
So he'll be laying 3.
1.
Playing uphill for his bogey. Oh, that will hurt. That will hurt. A really nicely done shot. Unfortunately, no love from the basket. A little bit of band, a little bit of chain, and not in.
Very close. Very nice putt from Alistair.
Very nice putt for 4. Sometimes the best putts we make in a day are to save bogeys. That was an excellent putt. Oh, I'm sorry to see that one after such a great tee shot.
Par's not bad on this one still.
Par's not bad.
A bit disappointed, but it'll be okay.
And I still think you gain a stroke on the field in this one because your opponent's got into a little trouble off the tee.
Yes.
Fist bump from your dad. Nicely played again. I really love that shot.
Positive energy is really important for your game.
Hole 15, which we play as 12 here, is my favorite. Downhill, lots of open air, a narrow green with trouble on both sides, and lots of opportunity to shape shots and play for position. The fairway is fairly generous, but it gets small very quickly, and you really want to work to the left side to have a straight line back to the green.
Yes.
The green has a ridge defining the left side and a lot of brush on the right. Both discourage the high shots and favor playing for position. At only 220 feet, this hole requires a real throw to make the second shot easy, but there's danger everywhere. It's a par 3 and it rewards the long turnover backhand or the forehand hyzer. Nico, you seem to be looking at something like a long hyzer.
Yes, I'm actually throwing a mid-road runner so I can ante it a bit here.
Bit of Annie.
Bit too high, so I'll be in a brush pile, I'm pretty sure.
And you can see a little wave from the bushes there. It looks like you're throwing into a bit of a headwind here, which will change everything for you.
I love it how people throw so differently. Some take their time, some rush it, some are lefties, some are backhands, some throw left-handed, some throw right-handed, some throw forehanded, some throw... There's so many combinations. Like, there's people, a guy who actually only throws chicken wings. There's so many combinations, it's incredible.
It's one of the fun things about this game is the creativity and the differences. Austin had a fantastic tee shot. I think he's going to be looking at a birdie opportunity.
Very nice.
Alistair's trying to dig out of the right side. Again, it's tough over there. I did clear it out a lot to make it a little friendlier, but it's tough to get back to the basket.
Yes.
You can see the leaves are starting to drop out. This is Central Ontario. It's early fall. This right side with these poplar trees is actually easier than it usually is when all the wood is in and all the leaf. Nice second shot for you, Nico. You got right up to the basket.
Thank you. I didn't know. Oh, that's surprising, Alistair.
Oh, looks like Alistair's going to come away with a 4 on that hole, but he scrambled well.
Nice putt from Austin there.
I think that's a birdie for Austin. Nicely played, and you're going to walk in and tap in for your par. As the group moves to the 13th hole of the day, which is hole 16, and another favorite of mine. You'll see these players play through a narrow early gap with lots of space behind. I'm jumping the gun a little bit. You haven't even putted out. Easy one for you, though. I had complete confidence in you.
Thank you.
Yes, you'll see on hole 16 a narrow early gap with lots of space beyond. You have to get off the tee with some precision and not get caught too far back. The gap is narrow, but there's lots of room to shape a shot. And the ground is pretty flat, which will allow some clever and creative ground play to get back to the basket.
Definitely.
The ground slopes upward behind the basket, so it's easy to stop a disc. That gives you an opportunity to really attack this one.
Yeah.
At 205 feet, you have to make a real throw to get close, but it's not the hardest hole out here. It's a par 3, and it will reward any firm, straight hole that will skip up to the basket. Austin's first on the tee, and there you see
Stewart.
the cameraman Stewart. Oh, a little up. He threw that one uphill,
Yes.
and it skipped through very nicely. I wonder if in high foliage if that would have got through. That turned out very nicely.
It's good.
Trying to throw that flex again. You sort of staggered out on the left. We'll see how much work you have left to do. And now for the lefty. Very similar shape to your last shot. This one is caught a little bit of branch on the left side. He should be just a bit short with an open second shot. And you've got to get a bit creative here. This looks challenging. You're going to bend this one up into the sky and back to the basket.
Yes, definitely. It's a bit more of a hard shot, but I feel like I can put the anhyzer a bit high and it will be okay. See, I think I hit something there maybe.
Came up a bit short. That's going to give you about 35 feet left.
Yep.
Challenging putt. Here's Alistair.
Oh, so close.
Again, this kid runs everything and almost makes a lot of stuff. You have to admire his swashbuckling style.
Yes.
Austin must be getting a little bit tired of hitting metal and not going in, though he is coming off of a birdie on the last hole.
Yes.
Nico, you've got a chance for a 3. Not an easy putt at this distance. You look focused, you look balanced.
It's calmness, so I like to take my time. Oh, so close.
So close. And next up, it looks like Austin's going to have to clean up behind. No, this time it's Alistair.
Ooh, nice putt from Alistair.
Quick, fast, no time to get nervous. He just puts it in the basket. Austin's thinking this one through. Perhaps it's your way. Yes.
What I love about disc golf is anyone can play. Doesn't matter if you're 50, doesn't matter if you're 5, doesn't matter if you're 100, it doesn't matter. Actually, the president of Canada actually was playing disc golf.
The Prime Minister?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, he's got a little bit of hippie cred, so we'll give him that one. Hey, and now the group is moving on to hole 17/14. This is just a jump putt for some people, or an overhand throw for others, and a smooth level pitch for most of us. It's a short, narrow hole and plays over a deep gully that, if you get caught down there, leaves a challenging putt back uphill. Miss the gap and you have work to do, run the basket, and risk having to putt back out of some bushes right towards the gully. It's only 100 feet, it's not long, but it can be a nervy shot. Still, it's a par 3 and it's a gettable ace opportunity.
Here's Alistair. Sadly, Austin hit a few trees. Alistair with the shot. Very nicely played. Smart shot.
I think he's got about 10 feet left.
Yep.
You're the third one to play. Did you get caught in those trees? Did you hit the cameraman?
Yes.
You actually hit the cameraman.
Yeah, I actually skipped it off the top and hit him. Oops.
Wow. Now, Austin from down below. This is a makeable putt. Oh, a heartbreak for Austin. I think he hit the band. Boy, he's been catching so much metal today and not getting any bounces.
Yep, definitely.
So these putts are not as hard as they look. It is a higher shot than it might appear. Oh, say up. But that's makeable from the front. Nico, you really flew it.
Thank you.
I'm glad to see that sit down. Those ones can run down the hill. That can be a bit of a heartbreak.
If Wally wasn't there, I bet I would have gone like another 30 feet.
Oh, he saved you a bit of distance?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Well, maybe you should buy him a coffee. Alistair cleans up a 2. And I think Austin cleans up a 4 and a 3 for Nico.
Yes.
And the group is on to what I believe is our final hole of the day, which we'll call the 18th on Project 2. It's an uphill shot with 3 early gaps, each demanding a different shaped shot. If you can get through a gap and get up the hill, you have to think about how the disc will fade or skip and try to get back into the little green area to leave a putt. Aces aren't impossible, but position is key. The hole is only 120 feet, a par 3, and depending on your go-to shot, you probably have something you can use with confidence.
Definitely. Did you know I actually parked this hole in a tournament for $40? So that was really
That's
fun.
right, the tournament a couple of weeks ago, the Jack's special tournament.
Yes, sadly, Alistair hit a tree. Let's see what I can do
Stuck
from
off
here.
on the left. You can see the 3 gaps. You're choosing the center gap. Smooth throw.
Bit high, so
Skips back, nearly hits a dad. But you'll have maybe 30 feet left. And finally, Austin off the tee. Threads it.
very nice from
Very
Austin.
nice shape. I think he's going to be about pin high. Now, Alistair has to think about this one because it's a bit narrow over there. Not a lot of options from that spot. Looks like he's going to run on to this one. Oh, unfortunate. Maybe that roll will help him get a better angle. He marks, but gained about a yard. And he's taking his time trying to find a space to work through that left side. It is tricky over there where that bank is.
It's definitely taking your time. See, checking your line, because if you just run up and do it, your brain can't process that fast.
I'm impressed. That was a really nice third shot by Alistair.
Yes, it was.
And you are now lying 1, and you call your caddy for a different stick, a different disc. I like it. And you've got a forehand putt over these high junipers.
Yes.
Nice to see you taking your time, thinking it through.
Oh,
You got aggressive, but you're much closer to the hole.
thank you.
Alistair getting ready for his 4th, if I'm not mistaken. You can see the cameraman, the local in-house cameraman in behind. He
Very
makes
nice
it.
putt.
Excellent
Very
4
nice.
on a tough hole with a unfortunate first shot. Oh, Nico chainsing out.
No. So close.
So close. For those of us who don't count themselves as really good putters, it's always impressive to see someone really go at a forehand putt. It seems crazy, but you make it look easy.
Thank you.
Nice play by Austin. I think that's a 2 for Austin. And 4 for you. And I'm
Yes.
pretty confident that this is a 5 for Alistair. And so ends the Ontario Junior Disc Golf Championships. Congratulations to Austin Hill with a big win, shooting a score of 90. Following him is Alistair with 92. And Nico, our Nico, with a 94. Great round, Nico. Great round, everybody. Congratulations to Austin.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to some bonus footage. We're going to see the under 12 final rounds playoff hole. Here at Project 2, they'll be playing the first hole in just a moment. Again, congratulations to all of your under 10 mixed division. Really fun to watch the round and really fun to share this time with you, Nico. Thanks for helping out.
Thank you. Been an honor.
An honor for me as well. Big thanks to Nico, big thanks to Carl, and a big thanks to Wally for putting this all together.
Thank you. And just quick, I'd like to thank my sponsors, Diameter, Uplay, Innova, Grip, and Sheetizer, Trash Panda Minis, and Project 15. Thank you for supporting Junior Disc Golf. Thank everyone for watching.
And here we go, moving into the playoff hole. Here's Brock from Kempville, Ontario. He's our first competitor, and his opponent, Bryce from Huntsville. These guys came out first in a tie in the under 12 division, and they will head on to Project 2's first hole, which again is a narrow gap over a big gully and back to the basket. Measures about 180 feet. Brock is up first. Looks like he'll be throwing a forehand.
It's incredible. Very incredible to watch these people play.
These guys can really throw. His shot seems to be long and a little bit left.
Yes.
Well, this is a follow-up hyzer. Pardon me, forehand. Oh, gets into trouble on that first tee. Bounces right. He'll have a bit of work to do. This is not an easy place to play from, and really you're limited by the number of different shots you have. A step out backhand's just about all you can do, and it's very tough to prevent the shot going left. As you see here.
There's also the forehand hyzer, but that was a smart play from Bryce.
I don't know if he could have got that hyzer through on the right.
True.
Brock is short.
Oh, fair.
Just runs through the basket a little bit. He should have an easy comeback putt.
Yep.
But this is not an easy putt. In a stick pile, through a bunch of branches. He's well off the fairway.
Oh, very nice.
Pretty good effort. Comes back out clear. He should have no trouble making that 4. But Brock has a comeback putt for a 3. This may be the end of the tournament if he sinks this. Take a deep breath. Get your heart rate down. Cleans it up nicely for the championship. Congratulations to Brock. Picks it up. And
Nice to Brock, and thank you everyone for listening. Thank you everybody for watching, and thank you everyone for supporting Junior Disc Golf, everyone who played, and even if you didn't, thank you.
And from me, thank you as well to everybody who came to my course and competed, and a big heartfelt thank you to Carl for all he does for Junior Disc Golf and for Project 15. He's been a major part of this from the very beginning. Love you, man. Love everybody who's come and helped out. This has been a joy, and I'm looking forward to next year. Thank you from Junior Disc Golf everywhere. Goodbye.
Thank you.